Uh-oh. Okay, we'll start with this. The Bam Rodriguez and Manny Pacquiao parallels aren't too hard to see. Ahead of his upcoming unification match with Humalele Cafu, his first at Super Flyweight. Moreno Valley, California. It's fitting that 8th Division World Champion Manny Pacquiao is fighting 1 month from Thursday night, July 19th, the same evening as unbeaten 2-weight World Champion Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Pacquiao, at 46, has given the support of his everything. Following his Hall of Fame induction earlier this month, he will seek a final welterweight title, meeting Rodriguez's close friend from San Antonio, WBC champion Mario Barrios, in the main event of a PBC on Prime Video pay-per-view in Vegas. At 25, Rodriguez is looking like this generation's Pacquiao as he headlines that night's DAZN opposing main event. Now 21-0 with 14 KOs, WBC Super Flyweight champion Rodriguez intends to post a unification win in Dallas over South Africa's new WBO champion, Humalele Cafu, 11-0 with 3 draws and 8 knockouts. Rodriguez originally envisioned an attempt to stand as undisputed super flyweight champion, and that's still possible if WBA champion Fernando Puma Martinez can stage a unification against the new IBF champion Willibaldo Garcia this year. If those winners can't meet within a timely fashion, Rodriguez has grander plans to pursue. Call it the Pacquiao roadmap. Call it wanting Fernando Martinez to help consolidate the titles, making it easier to unify all of them. Not only does Rodriguez seek to win a bantamweight title and hunt down an epic meeting against undisputed, unbeaten super bantamweight champion Naoya Inoue of Japan next year, but he also believes it's possible to stand as a 6-weight world champion by the time his career ends. As a world champion, yes, Rodriguez told Boxing Scene in an interview at his trainer's eponymous Robert Garcia Boxing Academy, "I feel I have what it takes to compete in those weight classes. I feel my skills will keep improving, and I'm only 25. 6 divisions. So that would require Bam to become a champion at Bantam, Super Bantam, Feather, and subsequently Super Feather, topping out at 130. A dynamic puncher with rapid hand movement who last year ended the reign of accomplished Mexican champion Gallo Estrada by way of a 7th-round knockout, Rodriguez said he foresees the move towards 122 champion Inoue perhaps by the end of 2026 as a smooth transition given his room to grow. Upon winning the junior bantamweight title, Rodriguez spoke of distinguishing himself by standing as the division's undisputed champion, and he noted this week that Pacquiao never achieved that. He didn't. Manny Pacquiao never held 2 alphabet titles at the same time, much less all of them. A little-known statistic. Although Willibaldo Garcia advisor Sean Gibbons told Boxing Scene on Wednesday that his fighter plans to attend the Rodriguez vs. Cafu fight and call out the winner, trainer Robert Garcia said sometime may disrupt the undisputed plan at 115 as they eye a move to Bantam next year for Bam. So is there enough time left in this year for Bam to unify this division, become undisputed? We were hoping to get undisputed at 115, but there's an IBF champion from Mexico now, Garcia, that nobody even knows, and we don't have time for that, Robert said. Obviously, we have to get past Cafu because he's a good fighter, and our next move would be to fight Puma Martinez as Bam's last fight at 115. After that, he's going to 118 for sure. Well, yeah, that's the fight I want to see Bam in. More than the Garcia fight, I want to see him fight Fernando. Fernando's a lot more proven than Willibaldo Garcia. After surviving a knockdown to knock out Ramon Cardenas on May 4th in Vegas, four-weight world champion Inoue said he would prefer to remain at 122 for as long as his body allows, rather than move up to feather. Trainer Garcia predicts Rodriguez can reach that target weight without compromising a more ideal weight class, as the now-retired Vasyl Lomachenko did in fleeing his best division at junior lightweight to pursue big money fights at lightweight. The difference is age. Lomachenko's talent and skill could have got him up to 140, but he didn't turn pro until about 26, and the age, the injuries, and the workouts take a toll, and by 35, you're up there, Garcia said. Bam won his first flyweight title 1 week after his 21st birthday. He's very young. Big difference. Inoue is 32. His body is already tired. Workouts and sparring are tough. For Bam, it's only about 7 pounds, and they're both about 5'5". Garcia says matching the pair would do wonders for boxing. I have no doubt he will be fighting Inoue. I would love to do Inoue. That would be great. Awesome, Garcia said. Boxing needs that fight. We're getting other fights, Jake Paul versus Chavez next week, that do great numbers, but we need real competitive fights, and there's not a better one than Bam versus Inoue. Well, there is also Junto versus Inoue. That's a pretty good one, too. And he's already halfway there. Junto is at 118, and Inoue is at 122. Junto is actually closer to Inoue's weight class than Bam is. To get there, Bam Rodriguez needs to master his patient, step-by-step plan victories, starting with Cafu. Given the plaudits he consistently receives while rising up the sport's pound-for-pound rankings, Rodriguez said he maintains a humble attitude and strives to be his own toughest critic, tending to his defense this camp, for instance, because of the knockdown he needed to recover from versus Estrada. In the back of my mind, I know all the great things that have come to me can be taken away in a matter of seconds, Rodriguez said. I stay true to myself and who I am. It's happened plenty of times to other fighters, and I don't want to follow in those footsteps. Cafu is a very tough fighter, coming off that upset of Kosei Tanaka in Japan. Has 8 knockouts. He's coming hungry. I'll be more than ready. I want everything to go as planned. You've got to be your own hardest critic. That's how you improve. Yeah, there's definitely something to be said about handling success and too much of it.
This has cost you strength. Victory has defeated you.
Rodriguez has a good idea of how July 19th will go among the populations of casual boxing fans driven by the curiosity of Pacquiao's comeback, and the hardcore fans who will likely make it a 2 big screen night to watch Rodriguez as well. If I lose fans that night, it's okay, because Mario Barrios is my friend. I grew up with him, known him since 10 years old, Rodriguez said. If the fans are watching him instead of me, I'm happy for him. It'll be a great night for San Antonio boxing. He has the height and reach advantage, and the age may play a factor as well. Props to Pacquiao for even taking this fight. He's one of my favorites, an all-time great. For my friend to have a name like that on his resume is badass. To attract his own audience that night is badass, because fighters in my weight class usually don't get recognition like this. The fact I'm where I'm at today speaks a lot about my skills and talent. People appreciate it. Every fight, I only get better from here on out. My last performances are nothing compared to July 19th. By executing that mission, Rodriguez will certainly build global interest towards the showdown with Inoue. I see the comments, and I eventually see myself fighting Inoue. I don't know how long it's going to take for that to happen, but down the line, I know that's a huge fight that's bound to happen, and people will appreciate it, he said. I know it will go down as one of the best fights in all of boxing. It could, in theory, so long as Bam can stay in the winner's bracket and make it to Inoue, but that applies to Inoue too. He's got a full plate. He's got MJ in September, potentially his countryman Junto next year, then Bam right behind him. It's too far out for me to get excited, and too far out for me to even imagine, because Bam's looks sensational at Fly and Superfly, but what about Bantam? He's not there yet, and we just don't know. What if he starts to look human at his third weight? Or what if he doesn't, but Junto Nakatani beats him to the punch? beats Inoue, what then? Beats him off. There are too many moving parts for me to even try to imagine what Bam versus Inoue would look like. First, let's get Cafu out the way, then maybe Martinez. That's the fight that has me excited, because that's the fight that's more realistic. Fernando Martinez is a proven fighter. He's beaten 2 world champions at this weight. First was Jerwin Ancajas, second was Kazuto Ioka. The best fight to make it super flyweight right now is the one between him and Bam. Anything involving him and Inoue is too far out to seem realistic. So he wants to become a champion at 6 weights. 2 divisions short of Manny Pacquiao's 8-weight world champion claim, but can Bam do it? That's still a lot. Do you guys think that Bam can stay in character and still be competitive as high as 130 pounds? Against guys like Sugar Nunez or Shockey Foster?
Turkey, you need to put a small ring, the smaller ring in the...
The only, hey, Matt. Yeah. The only running that I'm gonna be doing is running upside his head, and I can assure you that. Facts. And he got a big head, too.
So things got testy earlier today at the second press conference for Canelo versus Crawford at FanFest. And once again, I got the big fight feel. I got that proverbial full salute erection. They're supreme competitors, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. They're very competitive guys, so 2 competitive guys in the same ring? Fireworks. Terence Crawford assures that he's not going to spend 36 minutes running from Canelo Alvarez like Jermell Charlo and Edgar Berlanga did, like William Skull just did earlier this year. He's going to run upside his head. There are so many people that attribute Canelo Alvarez's lack of knockouts in recent years to him being in decline. But I maintain my original position that when so many guys who are so much bigger than Canelo spend the entirety of a fight retreating from him, it can't be because he doesn't hit hard. They're retreating because he does. You know, Jaime Munguia, I'm convinced that he carried that guy, that he could have stopped him if he wanted to, but because that's his countryman, he took mercy upon him. That's why he didn't knock him out. That's why he didn't stop him, because he didn't want to. With Jermell, it was a little different. He probably did want to knock out Jermell, but Jermell spent the whole fight running from him. And so did Edgar Berlanga, and so did William Skull. Those guys are all a lot bigger than Canelo Alvarez. You could see it in plain sight. If they could have bullied him and pushed him back, then they would have. It was the opposite. He pushed them back. He bullied them. And it's because this guy still cracks. He still hits hard. They knew it. Terence Crawford is about to find out, but on that predication, what is Terence Crawford's strategy? If he's not gonna run, and he says he's not going to, what's his plan of action? Stay mid-range, just outside of Canelo Alvarez's reach. Work off the counter if he tries something. Terence has got longer arms than Canelo Alvarez, so he can touch him, theoretically, and get out of striking distance before Canelo can respond, at least. That's what he's telling himself. But whether or not that's actually going to work is something else. They're pulling out all the stops for this thing. Dana White announced that Max Kellerman will be returning to boxing, and he will be part of the announcing team for this fight, as well as a $188,000 version of the Ring Magazine title, jewel encrusted. Bitch! It's a thing of beauty, the Ring Magazine title they made for this fight.
To me, it's gorgeous.
Very important fight made available to a lot of people on Netflix, one of the biggest platforms out there right now, to all of its 200 million plus subscribers around the world. This is gonna do huge numbers. Huge. Dana White seems to be enjoying himself for years. He toyed with the idea of breaking into boxing, but its fragmented infrastructure and it being a boys' club never allowed for that until Turkey LL Sheik came along.
Boys Club?
It's just a fanciful way of saying it's insulated, and some of the people in it don't want new faces, don't want a new kid on the block. Oscar De La Hoya doesn't. He already doesn't like Dana. I'm sure he doesn't like that Dana now has Turkey behind him, who's got all the means and all the money to leave a big carbon footprint.
Oscar and anybody else couldn't stop them if they
You've
wanted
been
to.
around him a little bit already with His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh. It's normal for Turkey to invite people to his ranch and have people for dinner. He had all the heavyweights there at one point, all pictured together. Joshua Parker, Fury, Ngannou. Is it a fight you want some attrition? You want some dislike for Canelo? Because you guys look like you're having tea yesterday in the pictures.
I don't need no dislike to fight Canelo. I don't gotta hate him. I don't gotta, dislike him.
We got no losses. So we know what to do to take to get that win, right? He know how to lose. He know how to, when he get to a point where he can't win, he'll finish the fight.
On fight night, and the dislike and the hatred will be there.
I think we are gradually reaching that point, reaching critical mass as the fight date approaches. So do the hostilities. Canelo did shove Terence Crawford earlier today.
It's been sort of a bromance between the two combatants. Very respectful, very cordial.
At least up until now, in what was the second press conference of their tour. Things are getting spicy. Imagining this fight, we've imagined what Terence Crawford's strategy might be. What might be Canelo's? Well, I imagine that in those first rounds, Canelo's going to feel him out, as esteemed professionals often do, to evaluate just what exactly Terence is bringing to the table, and based on that, that'll tell him how to proceed.
Terence is pity-patting this guy. Canelo gets a feel for his power, or the lack thereof. He's going to put pressure on him. Though Canelo Alvarez not being an output guy, a volume guy.
He picks his punches. Canelo Alvarez, even when applying pressure, is very reserved. He doesn't give in to desperation, trying for punches before he's in position to land them. He just doesn't go out there winging shots. He's very careful. You have to figure that if he's coming forward on Terence, looking to apply pressure, Terence is putting punches together, opening up, Canelo's going to try to land a hard counter.
Body shot, maybe.
That's the danger for Terence. We don't know that he's going to arrive at 168 with any semblance of the power that he had at either 147 or 154, and if he doesn't, Canelo's going to try to mow him down. Canelo is the more bankable fighter of the two going into this fight because there are no intangibles when it comes to Canelo. We know what he can take at 168. We know what he can give.
Where we don't know any of these things about Terence, and that's what makes the fight intriguing.
It's a wild card. One way or another, though, I do see Canelo being the aggressor, and I do see Terence being the defender, irrespective of what his power is or what his power isn't.
Canelo's going to be the one coming forward, I think.
It's a question of whether or not Terence Crawford can hold him back and or work around him. How much do you trust Terence in this situation?
We'll find out in a few weeks' time.
A little over 2 months.